You still stand by the statement that there were no handcuffs?
I have no comment from hearing, though.
Other witnesses are expected to dispute the testimony of an adult probation officer who said under oath that handcuffs were taken off of the prisoners before they boarded the boat.
Are you saying that Steve Booker was let fall back into the water?
Into the water and stayed in there all night? I told the guys, say, man, y'all gonna wait till the next morning to take that water to water. And that's exactly what they did.
At least 60 people have expressed an interest in testifying about what they saw at Lake Mahia on Juneteenth, when Carl Baker, Anthony Freeman, and Steve Booker lost their lives.
And just off the banks of the lake, the Comanche 3, as the dead men are called, were remembered. Friends and family members were here, but outnumbered by people who didn't know the drowning victims, but who came to protest the way they died.
We want to be respected by the system and protected by the system and not neglected by the system.
It's taking too long to let family feel. It should have been something done. I mean, if it had been someone out went out there and shot one of the police or something, they'd had him convicted by now. He'd been already gone to jail. But no, look at here. 3 lawmen do something. They take their time by doing it. They want everybody to forget about it. But no, we'll never forget about it.
Three lawmen, including probation officer David Drummond, are on trial not for murder, but a misdemeanor offense, negligent homicide.
We would definitely like to see at least some type of felony charge considered. A misdemeanor, we think that this case is out of place.
Drummond, Kenny Elliott, and Kenneth Archie are charged with negligent homicide. They were transporting 3 blacks across Lake Mahia to a police command post. They were charged with smoking marijuana at a Juneteenth celebration marking the end of slavery over 100 years ago. On the witness stand for the first time in the proceedings, defendant Kenneth Archie told the court he was subpoenaed to testify before the grand jury last August. Defendant Kenneth Elliott testified he was never advised he had the right to remain silent. Prosecutor Jerry Carruth claimed both men were told of their rights. The state claims a grand jury report will show inconsistencies in the testimony by Archie, Elliott, and David Drummond on what happened last June 19th.
The prosecution called it a case of gross negligence. The boat was overloaded with no safety equipment. And after nearly 4 hours of deliberation, the jury found Kenny Elliott, Kenneth Archie, and David Drummond not guilty.
God will take care of them, though.
Why do you say that?
He will, because they did wrong.
Booker T. Washington Emancipation Park is already busy with activity for a weekend of Juneteenth celebrations.
I'm in your job. I'm computing people.
Salesmen are setting up booths of refreshments and mementos. It's told that generations ago, Limestone County slaves learned of their freedom under an old tree not far from here. It was 2 years after Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, but blacks have gathered at Lake Mahia for camping, family reunions, and Thanksgiving ever since.
I like to see the kids enjoy themselves, because I've had my day. I've had my day.
Some elderly have been here every summer they can remember, but last year they were shocked when 3 young blacks drowned in the custody of Limestone County Sheriff's officers.
We are freed indeed.
The criminal proceedings are over in the Lake Mahia drowning case 1 year after. The civil suits are still pending. The local police here are keeping a very low profile during this year's celebration. Organizers expected the crowds to swell to near 30,000 because of publicity.
The Comanche 3 committee was formed to push for a new trial. Today, members organized a parade and rally to remember the 3 who died.
Leaders of the Comanche 3 committee admit they can never bring back Carl Baker, Anthony Freeman, and Steve Booker, but they hope by keeping this issue in the minds of the public, they can keep something like this from happening again.
And on that spot, black slaves were read the Emancipation Proclamation.
And upon this act, I invoke the consideration of mankind and the gracious favor of Almighty God. Signed, Abraham Lincoln, 16th U.S. President.
Juneteenth has become a day for being together, for enjoying each other, and for remembering.
Well, one thing is my first time being here to celebrate June the 19th. That's why it's so important to me, and it's fun.
It's a good day to celebrate Booker T. Washington
and have a good day and barbecue and all that stuff.
But it's also a day for leading the young and hoping for the future. And all that stuff is the history of black Americans.
We feel that the young people, especially those of the black community, should always remember, but in remembering should make progress.
This is one of the larger Juneteenth celebrations in Texas. The crowd was down a little this year, but no one blames the deaths here 2 years ago. Instead, the call was to work for the future with an eye on the past.